The industrial dumpster lid slams open under Ray Hanlon's gloved hands, and the smell hits him first. Rot, chemical waste, and something else. Something wrong. Something alive. Rain hammers the back alley behind Argent Tower like 1,000 fists against steel. Neon reflections from the corporate district bleed across puddles, turning them violet and gold. Ray's shift supervisor barked orders 20 minutes ago. Clear the executive waistline before midnight or don't come back tomorrow. Ray needs this job. Needs the subsidized housing voucher that comes with it. Needs to stay invisible in a city where unbonded male Omegas are either claimed, collared, or disappeared. So he obeys. He always obeys. His flashlight beam cuts through trash bags and shredded documents, sweeping left, then freezing. A small hand, pale, trembling. Ray's heart detonates. No, 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 no. He tears through plastic and foam, fingers shaking, and there, curled between cardboard and broken glass, is a child. A pup, maybe 3 years old, maybe 4, dark hair matted against his skull, eyes half open, pupils blown wide, glazed with cold. His lips are blue, tiny furred ears, stress shifted from trauma, twitch against his head. A collar tag clinks faintly against the metal bin. This isn't a lost pup. This is a discarded pup. Ray's lungs forget how to work. Every Omega instinct in his body screams, roars, demands action. The scent of distress pheromones. Acidic, wrong. The biological cry for help slams into his brain like a drug. He doesn't think. He grabs the boy, yanking him from the trash. The pup's body is ice cold, limbs limp. Ray rips off his own rain-soaked jacket and wraps it around the child, pulling him against his chest. You're safe, Ray whispers, voice cracking. I got you. I swear I got you. The pup's eyes flutter. His mouth moves, but no sound comes out. Ray rocks him, rubbing warmth into his back. His own scent, the faint vanilla cotton signature of an unbonded Omega, blooms instinctively, designed by biology to soothe distressed young. The pup's breathing hitches. His tiny fingers curl into Ray's shirt. And Ray thinks, who does this? Who throws away a child? Then he hears it. A mechanical whir, high-pitched, growing louder. Surveillance drones. Ray's head snaps up. 3 black shapes descend from the tower rooftop, rotors slicing rain into mist. Red targeting beams lance through the darkness, painting his chest, his face, the pup in his arms. His stomach drops. Run. But his legs won't move. The pup whimpers, and Ray clutches him tighter, turning his body to shield the boy from the lights, from the drones, from whatever's coming. The alley floods with sound, engines, hydraulics, boots on wet concrete. An armored convoy slides into the space behind him, blocking the only exit. Doors slam open, and Ray realizes he's made a terrible mistake. If you've ever felt helpless when you saw something wrong, keep reading. What happens next will break you. The man who steps from the lead vehicle doesn't walk. He dominates, tall, easily 6'3", shoulders carved from violence. A charcoal coat tailored so perfectly it looks like weaponized elegance. Dark hair slicked back, rain rolling off him like he's too important for weather to touch. And his scent, Aurelian Voss, Apex Alpha, CEO of Aurelian Industries, mafia-backed, syndicate heir, the kind of man who bankrupts countries before breakfast. His pheromones hit Ray like a fist to the throat. Burnt cedar, ozone, iron-sharp dominance. The air thickens. Ray's knees buckle, Omega biology screaming at him to submit, kneel, bow. He doesn't. He holds the pup tighter. Aurelian's eyes, cold, gray, predator-sharp, lock onto the child in Ray's arms. His expression doesn't change, doesn't soften, doesn't flinch. He just stares. Then his voice cuts through the rain, low and absolute. That is my blood heir, and you are kidnapping him. Ray chokes on his own breath. I'm what? No. His voice cracks, desperate. I found him in the trash. Look at him. He's freezing. He's... Silence. One word. Alpha command. Ray's throat closes involuntarily. Omega instinct trying to obey even as his mind screams in protest. He fights it, shaking his head, clutching the pup so hard his fingers ache. He was thrown away, Ray gasps. Someone hurt him. Someone tried to. Aurelian lifts one hand. The security team explodes forward. Ray doesn't even see them move. 1 second he's standing. The next, his face is against concrete, cheek grinding gravel, arms wrenched behind his back. Pain flares white-hot up his shoulders. The pup is ripped from his grip. No! Ray screams. A boot presses between his shoulder blades, pinning him. Rain pools against his lips. He can taste blood, bit his tongue when they slammed him down. Humiliation, restraint, public Omega degradation. And Aurelian's expression doesn't change. Not even when the pup starts to cry. Not even when the boy reaches back toward Ray, small hands grasping at empty air. Ray's vision swims. He can't breathe. The weight on his back, the cold, the wrongness of this. Please, he whispers. Please just check him. He's hurt. He needs. Do not, Aurelian says, stepping closer. Fabricate stories to save your weak, Omega hide. The words land like a blade. Ray's chest caves. Tears burn behind his eyes. He won't let them fall. He won't. But his throat is closing, lungs stuttering. He's never held a pup before. Never touched anything that fragile. Never been trusted with something so small. And now he's treated like trash for trying to save him. Aurelian crouches, bringing his face level with Ray's. His scent intensifies. Dominance so thick it feels like drowning. You dare? Aurelian breathes. Lecture me on my pup's needs? Ray's voice breaks. I'm not. I didn't. You are nothing. That's when the pup screams. Not a cry. Not a whimper. A full-throated, distressed, panicked wail. The kind that makes every alpha in the alley stiffen, instincts firing. But the pup isn't reaching for Aurelian. He's reaching for Ray. Every guard freezes. Aurelian's jaw tightens. The first crack in his composure. Omega, he says slowly, voice dropping into something dangerous. What did you do to him? Ray shakes his head, gasping. Nothing. I just held him. He was cold. But the pup is still crying, still reaching. His little body arching away from the guard holding him, straining toward the Omega pinned on the ground. Bond scent recognition. Primal pup imprint. The kind of biological response that doesn't lie. Aurelian stares at his heir, at Ray, at the impossible connection forming between them. Then his expression hardens into something colder than the rain. He flicks his fingers. Detain him. He'll answer for pup endangerment. Ray's heart shatters. Fear, betrayal, total helplessness. No one will believe a low-rank Omega. Not against the apex alpha king of Argents. Not when the system was built to crush people like him. Have you ever been blamed for trying to help? The injustice is about to get worse. Rough hands haul Ray to his feet. His knees give out. They drag him upright anyway. Elbow wrenched so hard he feels tendons scream. Rain and blood mix on his face. His vision doubles, then clears. The pup is still crying. Wait, Ray gasps. Wait, please, your cameras. Check your surveillance. Check anything. The head guard, a beta with a scar across his jaw, laughs. It's a cruel sound. You Omegas, he says, squeezing Ray's chin, forcing eye contact. Always ruin what isn't yours. That line. Ray knows that line. It's been thrown at him by teachers, neighbors, landlords, caseworkers. Every authority figure in his life since he presented at 14. Always too fragile. Always unwanted. Always silent. The words taste like poison. He swallows them anyway. Because what choice does he have? The pup needs warmth. Ray whispers, voice raw. He needs. Please, at least take him inside. No one listens. Aurelian turns away, jaw set, and walks back toward his vehicle. His coat billows in the wind, rainwater streaming off him like a king untouched by the world's dirt. He doesn't look back, doesn't check the pup, doesn't verify Ray's story. That selective indifference, the refusal to see truth when it's screaming in front of him, hits harder than the guard's fists ever could. Ray thinks his humiliation is complete. He's wrong. The guard shoves him toward a black armored transport. Ray stumbles, catches himself against the vehicle's side. His palms stick to cold metal. You know what happens to Omegas who touch Alpha heirs? The guard hisses in his ear. Off-record detention. No trial. No release date. Ray's stomach turns to ice. He twists one last desperate attempt. I didn't hurt him. I saved him. Someone threw him away. Shut up. A hand clamps over his mouth. Another shoves him forward. The transport door yawns open. Dark, windowless. A mouth ready to swallow him whole. Ray's lungs seize. Panic claws up his throat. He can't go in there. Can't disappear into whatever legal black hole they're dragging him toward. He digs his heels in, but it's useless. They're stronger. They're always stronger. His last glimpse before the door closes. The pup, still in the guard's arms, small hands pressed against the tinted window of Aurelian's vehicle. Mouth forming one trembling word. Mine. And Ray realizes the pup isn't calling for the alpha. He's calling for him. The door slams. Darkness swallows everything. Inside the transport, Ray collapses onto the metal bench. His body shakes, adrenaline crash, cold, fear, everything at once. His wrists ache where they twisted his arms. His cheek throbs where it hit concrete. But none of that matters. The pup wanted him. Not Aurelian Voss, Apex Alpha, Mafia King, billion-dollar empire. A stranger Omega who smelled like safety. Ray's chest tightens. Memories flood back. Unbidden, unwanted. He was 6 when his mother left him at the Omega-subsidized housing intake. Can't afford a bond-defective child, she'd said. The caseworker had nodded, filed paperwork, and Ray learned the first rule of survival. No one reaches for you, ever. He grew up invisible. Learned to take up less space. Learned that Omegas like him, unbonded, low-rank, unremarkable, were background noise in a world run by alphas and betas. He'd made peace with that. Until tonight. Until a tiny pup, abandoned and terrified, reached for him like Ray was the only safe thing in the world. And now that pup is back in the hands of a man who didn't even check if he was okay. Ray's fists clench. He's not afraid of dying. Not really. He's afraid of the pup dying because Ray never got to say one more word. Never got to make sure anyone would actually care. The transport lurches forward, engines growling. Ray closes his eyes and makes a silent vow. I'll survive, because he deserves someone who actually cares. Outside, in the rain-soaked alley, Aurelian stands beside his vehicle. The pup is inside, strapped into a child's seat, still crying, still reaching toward the transport, pulling away into the dark. A junior guard approaches, tablet in hand. Sir, preliminary genetic temp reports indicate the pup suffered hypothermal shock. Core temperature dropped to dangerous levels. Any longer in that environment. Enough. The guard falls silent. Aurelian stares at the departing transport. His jaw works. His fingers curl into fists. Then he turns, opens his vehicle door, and slides inside. The pup's cries fill the space. But Aurelian doesn't look at him. He looks at his phone. At stock reports. At meeting schedules. At anything except the truth clawing at the edges of his control. Because if he really looks, he'll have to admit he made a mistake. And Aurelian Voss doesn't make mistakes. When power refuses to see truth, innocent people suffer. But this story isn't over. The detention transport smells like disinfectant and fear. Ray sits in the dark, wrists still aching, and tries not to think about what happens next. Kidnapping charges in Pandian City aren't trials. They're sentences, especially when the accuser is a mafia syndicate alpha who owns half the city's infrastructure. No lawyer will take his case. No judge will hear his plea. The system isn't broken, it was designed this way. Built to protect alphas and crush omegas who step out of line. Ray's always known that. He just never thought he'd be stupid enough to cross the line. But you didn't cross it. A voice whispers in his head. You saved a child. It doesn't matter. Intent doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. Power matters. And Ray has none. The transport turns sharply, throwing him against the wall. His shoulder hits metal. Pain flares. He grits his teeth and breathes through it. Memories flicker, unwanted, intrusive. He's 8, standing in line at the subsidized school. A beta teacher pulls him aside. Why are you so quiet? Speak up. No one's going to do it for you. He's 12, watching an alpha classmate get a scholarship Ray scored higher for. They need strong voices, the counselor says. You understand. He's 16, presenting as Omega, and the caseworker says, bond defective means you'll never be claimed. Start planning for service labor. He learned early. The world doesn't want Omegas like him to be loud. It wants them silent, obedient, disposable. And tonight, he became disposable. The transport slows. Ray's heart hammers. This is it. Whatever black site detention center they're taking him to, this is where he disappears. He wonders if anyone will even notice he's gone. Probably not. Meanwhile, across the city, Aurelian sits in his private office atop Argent Tower. The pup is with medical staff being cleaned, warmed, examined. Aurelian should feel relief. He doesn't. He feels wrong. The pup's cries still echo in his ears. That desperate reach toward the Omega. The way he screamed, mine, like his entire biology was rejecting Aurelian's claim. Impossible. Pups don't imprint on strangers. Especially not low-rank and bonded Omegas. Unless Aurelian's jaw tightens. Unless the pup was in severe distress. The kind of distress that triggers biological survival responses. Seeking any caretaker scent, any source of comfort. His desk phone buzzes. Sir, his head of security says. Medical scan complete. The pup shows signs of sedative exposure and hypothermal shock. Core temperature was 34 degrees Celsius when retrieved. Aurelian's fingers freeze over his keyboard. 34 degrees. Dangerously low. Time frame, he asks, voice flat. Estimated 2 to 3 hours of cold exposure. Any longer and we'd be looking at irreversible damage. Possibly death. The line goes quiet. Aurelian's mind calculates. 3 hours. The Omega found him at 11:47 p.m., which means the pup was placed in that dumpster around 8:45 p.m. during executive dinner service, when Aurelian was in a closed-door meeting. When his entire security detail was occupied with a VIP transport from the Eastern District. Pull surveillance logs, Aurelian says. I want every camera feed from 8:30 to 11:45. Sir, there's a complication. Aurelian's eyes narrow. Explain. The back alley cameras were offline. System logged it as routine maintenance. Routine. Yes, sir. Aurelian's hand curls into a fist. Cameras don't go offline during maintenance windows without advanced scheduling. And no one schedules maintenance during executive operations. Who authorized it? Unknown, sir. The logs show an admin override, but the user ID is encrypted. Aurelian stands, pacing to the window. Rain lashes the glass. Far below, the city glitters. Oblivious, uncaring. Someone disabled those cameras. Someone had access to his security systems. Someone wanted his pup gone. And they almost succeeded. If not for a random Omega on a trash route, Aurelian's chest tightens. He replays the scene in his mind. The Omega's voice, cracking with desperation. Check your cameras. Check anything. Someone did this on purpose. Aurelian dismissed it. Assumed guilt. Assumed deception. Because Omegas lie. Everyone knows that. They manipulate, scheme, use their biology to Except this Omega didn't act like he was lying. He acted like he was terrified, not of being caught, of the pup dying. Aurelian's comm device crackles. Sir, the pup is asking for... The medical staff hesitates. He's asking for the Omega. Aurelian's stomach drops. Clarify. He won't eat, won't settle. He keeps repeating one word. Mine. He's asking for the male who found him. Aurelian closes his eyes. Biology doesn't lie. Pup imprinting is instinct, pure, primal, unchallengeable. And his pup imprinted on a stranger. Which means Aurelian was wrong. The realization sits in his chest like lead. He presses the comm button. Where is the Omega now? En route to detention processing, sir. ETA 15 minutes. 15 minutes. After that, he'll be entered into the system. Logged. Processed. Buried under legal protocols Aurelian himself helped write. Protocols designed to be irreversible. Aurelian stares at his reflection in the rain-streaked window. He sees his father's face staring back. Cold, ruthless, unforgiving. Sentiment is weakness, his father always said. Heirs are investments, not children. Aurelian built his empire on that principle. And now his heir is crying for an Omega. Aurelian condemned without evidence. His hand hovers over the comm button. One command. That's all it takes. Release the Omega. Investigate properly. Admit the mistake. But that would mean showing weakness. Admitting fault. And alphas don't. The pup's cry cuts through the office speakers. Raw. Desperate. Alone. Aurelian's finger presses the button. Stop the transport. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't admitting you're wrong. It's facing what you've already destroyed. The detention transport hasn't reached the processing facility yet. It sits idling at a checkpoint, engines rumbling, while the driver receives new orders through his headset. Inside, Ray doesn't know any of this. He only knows the vehicle has stopped. And stopped is never good. His pulse hammers against his ribs. Sweat slicks his palms despite the cold. Every worst-case scenario cycles through his mind. Summary execution. Disappearance. Sale to a bonding house. Exile to the outer districts. The door opens. Ray flinches back, bracing for. Nothing happens. A guard stands in the doorway, expression unreadable. You, he says. Out. Ray doesn't move. What? Now. He stumbles out into the rain. They're still in the corporate district somewhere between Argent Tower and the legal sector. Neon signs bleed color across wet pavement. The guard grabs his arm, not rough but firm, and steers him toward a black sedan idling nearby. Ray's stomach flips. Where are we? Shut up and get in. He does. Because what choice does he have? The sedan drives in silence. Ray sits in the back, flanked by guards, and watches the city blur past. His mind races. This isn't standard detention procedure. This is something else. They pull into an underground garage beneath Argent Tower. The same building Ray was just dragged away from an hour ago. His throat tightens. They're bringing him back? The elevator ride is suffocating. Ray stares at the floor, counting heartbeats, trying not to spiral. The doors open on the executive level. And there, standing in the corridor, Aurelian Voss. No entourage this time. No security detail. Just him. Hands in his pockets. Coat discarded. Shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows. He looks tired. No, not tired. Unsettled. Aurelian's eyes lock onto Ray. Gray. Sharp. Searching. Leave us, he says. The guards hesitate. Sir, protocol. Leave. They do. The elevator doors close, leaving Ray alone with the most dangerous alpha in Pandian City. Ray's legs tremble. He wants to run, wants to collapse, wants to scream. He does none of those things. He just stands there, soaked, bruised, and waiting for the next blow. Aurelian steps closer. Ray flinches. Aurelian stops. Something flickers across his face. Too fast to read. You said, Aurelian begins, voice low. That someone threw my pup away. Deliberately. Ray nods, not trusting his voice. You said to check the cameras. Another nod. They were offline. Disabled by an admin override during the same window my pup disappeared. Ray's breath catches. Aurelian's jaw tightens. The medical report confirms sedative exposure. Hypothermal shock. He was hours from death when you found him. Ray's chest aches. Is he? He's alive. Because of you. The words land like a punch. Ray stares at him, disbelieving. Aurelian looks away, jaw working. I made an assumption. Wrong assumption. Silence. Ray's mind spins. Is he? You're apologizing? The words slip out before he can stop them. Aurelian's eyes snap back, sharp. I'm correcting a mistake. By throwing me in a transport? By letting your guards? Ray's voice cracks. I saved him. I didn't hurt him. I didn't. I know. 2 words. Quiet. Firm. Ray's anger deflates, leaving only exhaustion. He sags against the wall, legs giving out. Slides down until he's sitting on the cold floor, head in his hands. He's so tired. Tired of being invisible. Tired of being blamed. Tired of a world that sees Omegas like him as problems instead of people. Footsteps approach. Aurelian crouches in front of him. Not looming, not dominating. Just there. The pup won't stop asking for you, he says quietly. Ray looks up, vision blurred. He imprinted. Biologically. On you. Aurelian's expression is unreadable. I need to understand why. I don't know why, Ray whispers. He was cold. He was scared. I held him. That's all. That's all. Ray's voice hardens. I didn't do anything special. I didn't leave him there to die. Aurelian's gaze sharpens. But someone did. Yes. Someone inside my organization. Someone with access to my security systems. Someone who wanted my heir removed. Ray nods slowly, pieces clicking into place. And they used you, Aurelian continues, as a scapegoat, an unbonded Omega with no social capital. No one would question your guilt. The words sting because they're true. Ray laughs bitterly. Congratulations. You figured it out. Aurelian stands, offering a hand. Ray stares at it. An alpha offering help. To an Omega, publicly, feels like a trap. But his body hurts, and he's too exhausted to care. He takes the hand. Aurelian pulls him up. Steady, controlled. Come with me, Aurelian says. Where? To see him. He won't settle until he knows you're safe. Ray's heart stutters. The pup. My son. Yes. Aurelian turns and walks down the corridor. Ray follows, legs unsteady, mind reeling. Because somewhere in the last 5 minutes, the narrative shifted. He's no longer a suspect. He's a witness. And if someone inside Argent Tower tried to kill an alpha heir, they're not done trying. The truth is starting to crack the surface. But some truths come with a body count. The medical wing smells like antiseptic and alpha pheromones. Ray follows Aurelian through sterile white corridors, past guards who stare but don't speak. His wet clothes stick to his skin. His boots squeak against polished tile. Everything here is cold, clean, controlled. Nothing like the chaos still churning in Ray's chest. Aurelian stops outside a door marked Private Recovery. His hand hovers over the entry pad. Before you go in, he says, not looking at Ray, you need to understand something. Ray waits. My son is not just an heir. He's a target. Aurelian's jaw tightens. Whoever did this won't stop because they failed once. They'll try again. Then protect him, Ray says. Simple. Obvious. Aurelian's eyes cut toward him. I am. By finding who's responsible. You mean by using me as bait? Silence. Aurelian doesn't deny it. Ray laughs, bitter, exhausted. Of course. I'm still just a tool. You're a witness, Aurelian corrects. The only person he trusts right now. Which means whoever tried to kill him will see you as a loose end. Ray's stomach drops. You want them to come after me. I want them to reveal themselves. Aurelian's voice drops. And I'll be ready when they do. Ray stares at him. At the cold calculation in those gray eyes. At the way Aurelian treats people like chess pieces, expendable, strategic, useful only until they're not. What if I say no? Aurelian's expression doesn't change. Then you walk away. I'll have you escorted back to your housing unit with compensation for your trouble. You'll never see my son again. The words hit like a blade. Never see the pup again. Never know if he's safe. If someone tries again. If Aurelian actually cares, or if this is just damage control for his empire. Ray closes his eyes. He thinks of those tiny hands reaching for him. That desperate cry. Mine. Fine, Ray whispers. I'll help. Aurelian nods once and opens the door. The pup sits on a medical bed, wrapped in thermal blankets. He's clean now, hair brushed, furred ears tucked against his head in stress shift, and 4 drip runs to his arm. He looks so small. The moment the door opens, his head snaps up, his eyes wide, golden, rimmed with tears, lock onto Ray. Omega! He lunges off the bed, for line pulling taut. A nurse rushes forward to steady him, but the pup fights, reaching, demanding. Ray doesn't think. He crosses the room and drops to his knees, catching the boy as he throws himself forward. The pup burrows into Ray's chest, little fists clutching his wet shirt. His whole body shakes, not from cold anymore, but from relief. I'm here, Ray whispers, wrapping his arms around him. I'm here. You're safe. The pup hiccups, face pressed against Ray's neck. His scent, milk and honey, the universal signature of distressed young, mingles with Ray's vanilla cotton. Biology hums between them. Comfort. Safety. Bond. Ray looks up. Aurelian stands in the doorway, watching. His expression is unreadable, but something flickers behind his eyes. Something that might be pain or regret. A doctor steps forward, tablet in hand. Mr. Voss, the toxicology report is complete. Aurelian tears his gaze away from Ray and the pup. Results. Sedative compound. Chloral hydrate. Dosage sufficient to induce unconsciousness in a child his size for approximately 3 hours. The doctor hesitates. It's not a standard pharmaceutical. This is black market grade. Source. Restricted supply chain. Medical, military, or syndicate access only. Aurelian's hands curl into fists. That narrows it to executive level or higher. There's more, sir. The doctor swipes the tablet. We found trace sedative residue on the pup's collar. Whoever administered it had direct physical access. Ray's stomach twists. They touched him, drugged him, and then disposed of him. Aurelian finishes, voice flat. Like waste. The pup whimpers, sensing the tension. Ray rocks him gently, murmuring nonsense comfort sounds. The boy's breathing slows, evens out. Aurelian watches this. Watches how easily the pup settles in Ray's arms. How biology chose an unbonded stranger over the alpha who shares his blood. Security logs, Aurelian says. I want elevator access. Badge scans. Everything from 8 to 9 p.m. Already pulled, sir. A guard enters, handing over a tablet. 17 individuals accessed the executive wing during that window. All cleared personnel. Aurelian scrolls through the list. His jaw tightens. 12 alphas, 3 betas, 2 omegas. He looks up. Cross-reference with syndicate family trees. The guard hesitates. Sir, that's internal intelligence. I know what it is. Do it. Yes, sir. The guard leaves. Ray adjusts his hold on the pup, who's starting to doze against his shoulder. What happens now? Aurelian meets his eyes. Now we find out who wants my bloodline erased. An hour later, Ray sits in a private suite 3 floors below the executive wing. The pup is asleep in his arms, finally warm, finally safe. Ray's clothes have been replaced, soft gray sweats, clean, dry. Someone brought food. He hasn't touched it. He's too busy watching the pup breathe. What am I doing? He's not a caretaker, not a bodyguard. He's a sanitation worker who stumbled into something so far above his rank, he can't even see the surface anymore. And yet, the pup's fingers curl around Ray's thumb in his sleep. His little face, finally peaceful, presses into Ray's chest. Ray's heart aches. You chose me. I don't know why, but I won't let you down. The door opens. Aurelian enters carrying a tablet. His expression is grim. "We have a problem," he says. Ray's pulse spikes. "What kind of problem?" The security audit flagged 3 individuals with motive and access. Aurelian sits across from him, screen turned outward. All 3 are executive board members. All 3 are related to syndicate families. And all 3 would benefit from my son's death. Ray stares at the screen. 3 faces. 3 names he doesn't recognize. Why would they want him dead? Inheritance law. Aurelian's voice is cold. My father structured the syndicate contracts to pass through direct bloodline only. If my son dies before reaching maturity, succession defaults to extended family. They'd kill a child for money? Aurelian's laugh is bitter. You say that like it's surprising. Ray wants to argue, wants to believe people aren't that monstrous. But he's seen enough of the world to know better. So what now? Ray asks. Aurelian leans forward. Now I make them think their plan worked. Ray's blood runs cold. What? Public statement. My son is in critical condition. Prognosis uncertain. Security investigation ongoing. Aurelian's eyes are steel. We draw them out. Make them confident. Let them make a mistake. And if they don't make a mistake, then I make them think they did. Aurelian stands. Either way, they'll reveal themselves. Ray adjusts the sleeping pup in his arms. You're using him as bait. Again. I'm using their assumptions as bait, Aurelian corrects. My son stays here, protected, hidden. They'll think he's in critical care on the medical wing's upper level. Standard protocol for high-risk cases. What about me? You stay with him. He won't settle otherwise. Aurelian moves toward the door, then pauses. And Omega. Ray looks up. Thank you for not leaving him. The words sound foreign in Aurelian's mouth, like he's speaking a language he barely knows. Then he's gone. And Ray is alone again with a pup who trusts him for reasons he'll never understand. Trust is fragile. Betrayal is everywhere. And the enemy is closer than you think. The trap is set by morning. News cycles explode with the story. Aurelian Voss's heir in critical condition after kidnapping attempt. Ray watches the broadcast from the private suite, the pup asleep in a small bed beside him. The media spins it perfectly, vague enough to protect details, alarming enough to spread fear. Security footage under review. Suspects detained. Updates pending. All lies. But the bait is irresistible. Somewhere in Argent Tower, someone is watching, waiting, hoping their plan succeeded. Ray's skin crawls. He looks at the pup, peaceful, warm, alive. They tried to kill you. A baby. His hands shake with anger he didn't know he could feel. Aurelian, meanwhile, sits in a secure conference room with his head of security. Suspect 1, Marcus Voss. My cousin. Board member. Syndicate family ties through his mother's line. Aurelian's voice is flat, clinical. If my son dies, Marcus is third in line for succession. The security chief nods. He accessed the executive wing at 8:17 p.m. Badge scan confirms. Motive clear. Opportunity confirmed. Means? His personal detail includes a former military medic. Black market connections verified. Aurelian's jaw tightens. Next. Suspect 2, Elena Constantine. Board member. Her family holds contracts dependent on syndicate stability. A succession crisis benefits her position. She's a beta. No biological claim to inheritance. No. But her husband is alpha, and he's my father's half-brother, Aurelian finishes. Another line to the throne. The security chief hesitates. Sir, if we're investigating your extended family, everyone is suspect, Aurelian snaps, including blood relatives, especially blood relatives, because he learned long ago, family means nothing in the syndicate. Power is the only loyalty. Suspect 3, Aurelian prompts, Dmitry Volkov, your father's former second. He's been positioned for advisory control since your father's death. If your son dies without another heir, Dmitri becomes acting authority until succession resolves. Aurelian's eyes narrow. He was at the dinner service. I saw him. He left early. 8:34 p.m. Claimed urgent business downtown. Verify it. Already did. The alibi doesn't hold. Downtown security footage shows no activity at his claimed location. Aurelian stands, pacing. 3 suspects. 3 motives. 3 people he trusted with access to his son. One of them drugged a child and threw him in a dumpster. His hands curl into fists. Control. You need control. But control is slipping. Because the more he investigates, the more he realizes how close the threat is. How many people want his bloodline erased? How fragile his empire actually is. A message alert buzzes his phone. Unknown sender. The message reads, "The Omega knows too much. Remove the variable." Aurelian's blood runs cold. They know Ray is alive. They know he's involved. And now someone just ordered his death. Aurelian runs. He doesn't call security. Doesn't wait for protocol. He just runs. Down 3 flights of stairs, through the secure corridor, to the suite where Ray and his son are hidden. He keys in the override code. The door slams open. Ray jumps, startled. The pup stirs but doesn't wake. "We're moving you," Aurelian says, breathing hard. Ray stands. "What happened?" "Someone leaked your location. They're coming." Ray's face drains of color. "How?" "Now, Omega." Ray doesn't argue. He scoops up the pup, still asleep, wrapped in blankets, and follows Aurelian into the corridor. They move fast. Aurelian leads them through service passages, avoiding elevators, avoiding cameras. Ray's heart hammers. The pup's weight in his arms feels impossibly precious. Don't drop him. Don't let go. They reach a private exit, one used for VIP extractions. Aurelian keys the door open. Car idles outside, engine running. "Get in." Ray slides into the back seat, pup clutched tight. Aurelian follows, slamming the door. "Drive. Now." The car lurches forward. Ray looks back. Through the rear window, he sees figures emerging from the building. Too far to identify. Close enough to terrify. Who were they? Ray gasps. Hired contractors. Not syndicate. Which means whoever sent them is covering their tracks. Where are we going? Somewhere they won't think to look. Aurelian's voice is tight. My father's old safe house. Off-grid. No digital footprint. Ray hugs the pup closer. The boy wakes, blinking sleepily. "Omega," he murmurs. "I'm here," Ray whispers. "Go back to sleep." The pup nuzzles into his chest and does. Aurelian watches this. Watches how easily his son trusts. How effortlessly Ray provides comfort. Something in his chest cracks. "Why did you come back for us?" Ray asks quietly. Aurelian doesn't answer immediately. Then, "Because I made a mistake. And mistakes in my world cost lives." "Is that the only reason?" Aurelian looks at him. Really looks. At the Omega holding his son. At the stranger who risked everything for a child he didn't know. "No," Aurelian admits. "It's not." But he doesn't elaborate. Because some truths are too dangerous to speak aloud. When the hunter becomes the hunted, survival isn't about strength. It's about trust. The safe house is buried in the industrial district, a converted warehouse with reinforced walls and no windows. Inside, it's sparse. Kitchenette. A bathroom. 2 small bedrooms. Ray puts the pup down on one of the beds. The boy is still asleep, exhausted from stress. Ray's hands shake as he tucks the blanket around him. "We could have died. All of us." Aurelian stands in the doorway, phone pressed to his ear. His voice is low, clipped. "I don't care what the board says. Lock down the tower. No one in or out without biometric verification. Yes, including board members." He pauses. "If they refuse, arrest them." He ends the call and drags a hand through his hair. For the first time, he looks breakable. Ray watches him, watches the Omega who saved them both. And he makes a silent vow. I'll spend the rest of my life proving I deserve this. Deserve him. Deserve the chance to be better. It's not a declaration. It's a promise. The next morning, Ray wakes to find a single flower on his nightstand. No note, just a white lily, the Omegaverse symbol of commitment and new beginnings. Ray picks it up, smiling despite himself. 6 months, he thinks. Let's see if you can last. In the next room, the pup giggles at something Aurelian says. The sound fills the suite like sunlight. And Ray thinks, maybe this is what home feels like. Not perfect. Not easy, but real. Somewhere across the city, in the industrial district where this all began, the dumpster still sits behind Argent Tower. Empty now. Cleaned. Forgotten by everyone except the 2 people whose lives it changed forever. Ray stands there one afternoon, alone. He stares at the green metal, at the space where he found a discarded child and chose to care. I'd do it again, he whispers to the empty alley. Every single time, because that's who he is. An Omega the world tried to erase, who saved a life anyway, who chose compassion over fear, who proved that power isn't about dominance. It's about showing up when someone needs you. Back at the tower, Aurelian receives a call. Sir, his security chief says, we've completed the full investigation. All threats neutralized. Your son is secure. Good. Aurelian's voice is firm. And the Omega? Under full protection. No one touches him without your authorization. Correct. Aurelian ends the call. Then he does something he's never done before. He smiles. Not the cold CEO mask. Not the calculated syndicate air. Just a man who found something worth protecting. That evening, the 3 of them sit together, Ray, Aurelian, and the pup. Dinner is simple. Conversation is light. The pup chatters about his day. Shows them drawings. Asks for seconds of dessert. Normal. Blessedly normal. Daddy? The pup says, looking at Aurelian. Are you happy? Aurelian pauses, fork halfway to his mouth. He glances at Ray, at his son, at the family forming around him. Yes, he says quietly. I am. The pup beams. Good. Me too. He reaches for Ray's hand, then Aurelian's, holding them both, connecting them, and in that moment something shifts. Not a bond, not yet, but the possibility of one. Later, after the pup is asleep, Ray finds Aurelian on the balcony again. You're out here a lot, Ray observes. I'm thinking. About what? Aurelian turns. About how one night can change everything. Ray steps beside him. For better or worse? Both. Aurelian's voice is soft. I was a coward that night. I let fear control me, let prejudice blind me, and I almost lost everything because of it. But you didn't. Only because you refused to give up. Aurelian looks at him. You could have walked away, saved yourself. No one would have blamed you. I would have, Ray says simply. I would have blamed me. Aurelian's hand finds Ray's on the railing. Not grabbing, not claiming, just touching. If you walk away now, Aurelian says quietly, I'll tear down the world until I find you both. Not because I own you, but because I was wrong. And I need the chance to be right. Ray's heartbeat spikes. This is it. The moment. The choice. He could run. Protect himself. Avoid the risk of trusting an alpha who already hurt him once. Or he could stay. Build something new. Prove that second chances exist. I'm not going anywhere, Ray whispers. Aurelian's breath catches. You're sure? Ask me in 6 months, Ray says, squeezing his hand. I'll give you the same answer. Aurelian pulls him closer. Not dominating, not forcing, just holding. And Ray lets him. Because sometimes, strength is knowing when to lean. The city glitters below them. Neon and steel. Chaos and order. A world that tried to break them both. But they're still standing. Together. This is where the story pauses, not ends. Because some journeys don't have neat conclusions. They have beginnings. And this is just the start. If you've ever believed in second chances, in redemption, in love that's earned rather than given, then you already know. The best stories are the ones we choose to keep living. Epilogue tease. 6 months later, Ray will say yes. The bonding ceremony will be private. Just the three of them and the moon. The pup will carry the rings. And when Aurelian kneels, not in dominance but in devotion, Ray will finally believe that some fairy tales are real. They're just harder won than the storybooks admit. But isn't that what makes them worth it? This is your world, Ray says quietly. Isn't it? Aurelian glances at him. What do you mean? This. Ray gestures around them. Running. Hiding. Not knowing who to trust. This is what you were raised in. Aurelian's jaw tightens. Yes. Then why have a child? The question slips out before Ray can stop it. Why bring someone innocent into this? Aurelian's expression shudders. Because heirs are required. Bloodline is currency. My father made sure I understood that. Your father sounds like a monster. He was. Aurelian's voice is flat. And I'm his son. Ray stares at him, at the self-loathing bleeding through the cracks. You're not him, Ray says. Aurelian laughs bitterly. How would you know? Because a monster wouldn't have come back for us. Silence. Aurelian looks away, jaw working. Ray stands, crossing the small space. You made a mistake. A huge, terrible mistake. You accused me without evidence. You humiliated me. You let your guards. I know. Aurelian's voice cracks. I know. But you came back. Ray continues. You investigated. You found the truth. And when your son was in danger, you didn't hesitate. Aurelian's hands curl into fists. I should have believed you from the start. Yes, you should have. Ray doesn't soften it. But you didn't. And now you have to live with that. Aurelian finally meets his eyes. How do you not hate me? Ray considers this. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But I don't hate you. Why not? Because hate takes energy I don't have. Ray's voice is tired. And right now your son needs us both. So I'm choosing to focus on that. Aurelian stares at him like he's witnessing something impossible. An Omega who doesn't submit, doesn't break, doesn't crumble under alpha dominance. Just exists, with boundaries, with dignity. You're stronger than you look, Aurelian says quietly. I've had to be, Ray replies. Omegas like me don't survive by being weak. Later, Ray sits beside the pup's bed. The boy is awake now, sipping warm milk through a straw. His furred ears are still tucked, but his eyes are clearer. Omega, he says softly. Yeah, buddy? Are the bad people gone? Ray's heart clenches. We're working on it. Will you stay? As long as you need me to. The pup nods, satisfied. He finishes his milk and curls up against Ray's side. Omega, he says again. You smell like home. Ray's breath catches. Home. He's never been anyone's home before. The pup's breathing evens out as he drifts back to sleep. Ray looks up. Aurelian is watching from the doorway again. He's right, Aurelian says. You do. Ray doesn't know what to say to that. So he says nothing. But something shifts between them. Something fragile and new. Not trust. Not yet. But the beginning of it. Aurelian's phone buzzes. He steps outside to take the call. When he returns, his face is grim. We have a name, he says. Ray stands carefully, not disturbing the sleeping pup. Who? Marcus Voss. My cousin. Aurelian's voice is cold. Security traced the anonymous message to a burner device registered to his personal assistant. He's been detained. Is he talking? Not yet, but he will. Aurelian's eyes are ice. No one threatens my son and walks away. Ray shivers. Because right now, Aurelian doesn't look like a CEO. He looks like exactly what he is. A mafia king ready to burn the world for his blood. What happens now? Ray asks. Now? Aurelian's smile is sharp. Now I remind everyone why they should fear the Voss name. Revenge is patient. Justice is not. And the Alpha has both in mind. Marcus Voss sits in an interrogation room deep beneath Argent Tower. No windows, no cameras, no witnesses. Just him, Aurelian, and the truth. You drugged my son, Aurelian says. His voice is calm. Too calm. Marcus sneers. You have no proof. I have your assistant's testimony. I have security footage. I have the sedative compound traced to your medical contact. Aurelian leans forward. I have everything. Marcus's composure cracks. He was never supposed to survive anyway. Weak bloodline. My father always said, your father, Aurelian interrupts, is dead, and you just confessed to attempted murder. Marcus goes pale. Aurelian stands. You're finished. Syndicate laws are clear. Threats to direct bloodline are met with permanent exile. You'll be removed from the city. Your assets frozen. Your family name erased. You can't. I already have. Aurelian's smile is cruel. Enjoy whatever hole you crawl into. He walks out without looking back. Ray learns about it later through a secure message. Marcus Voss exiled. Threat neutralized. Relief crashes through him like a wave. It's over. The pup is safe. Ray sags against the wall, suddenly exhausted. All the fear, all the adrenaline, it drains out of him at once. Omega. He looks down. The pup is standing beside him, small hand tugging at his shirt. Are you okay? The boy asks. Ray laughs wetly. Yeah, buddy. I'm okay. Good. The pup smiles, his first real smile. Because you're my Omega now. Ray's heart splits open. You're Omega, not Aurelian's, not the Syndicate's. Yeah, Ray whispers. I guess I am. 3 days later, they return to Argent Tower. Security is tripled. Protocols are overhauled. The board is purged of anyone with questionable loyalties. Aurelian doesn't leave anything to chance. Ray is given a suite on the executive level. Not as a prisoner, as a guest, employee. He's not sure what he is anymore. The pup refuses to sleep unless Ray is nearby. So Ray stays. 1 night becomes 2. 2 becomes a week. And Ray realizes he's not leaving. You don't have to stay, Aurelian says one evening. They're in the common area of Ray's suite. The pup is asleep in the next room. Ray looks up from his tablet. I know. Then why do you? Because he needs me. Ray's voice is firm. And I'm not abandoning him. Even after everything I did? Ray sets the tablet down. You made a mistake. Terrible one. But you fixed it. You protected him. You did what was right. Aurelian sits across from him, elbows on his knees. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Be a father. Aurelian's voice is raw. I was raised to see him as an asset, not a person. And now he imprinted on a stranger because I failed him. Ray's chest aches. Then learn. You have time. Do I? Aurelian looks up. Or will he only ever want you? The question hangs between them. Ray doesn't have an answer. Because truthfully, he doesn't know either. One evening, the pup wakes from a nightmare. Ray rushes in, scooping him up. I'm here. You're safe. The pup clings to him, sobbing. Aurelian appears in the doorway, uncertain. Can I? He starts. Ray nods. Aurelian sits beside them, awkward, unsure. His hand hovers over the pup's back, then settles gently. The pup flinches, then relaxes. Daddy? He whispers. Aurelian freezes. Yes. You came back. I did. Aurelian's voice cracks. I'm sorry I left. The pup nods against Ray's chest. It's okay. Omega kept me safe. He did. Aurelian looks at Ray. I owe him everything. Ray's breath catches. Because that's the first time Aurelian has said it out loud. Not as a business transaction. As truth. Later, after the pup falls back asleep, Ray and Aurelian stand in the hallway. Thank you, Aurelian says quietly. For what? For not giving up on him. Or me. Ray shakes his head. I didn't do it for you. I know. Aurelian's smile is sad. That's why it matters. Silence settles between them. Not uncomfortable. Just present. What happens now? Ray asks. I don't know, Aurelian admits. But I'd like you to stay, if you're willing. As what? Whatever you want to be. Aurelian meets his eyes. Caretaker. Guardian. Part of his life. Part of. He stops. Because the words are too dangerous to finish. But Ray hears them anyway. Part of my life. I'll stay, Ray says. For now. For now, Aurelian echoes. It's not a promise. But it's a start. Healing doesn't happen in a day. But it starts with choosing to try. 2 weeks pass. Ray settles into a routine. Mornings with the pup, breakfast, play, learning. Afternoons coordinating with tutors and medical staff. Evenings helping the boy process trauma through art and stories. It's exhausting. It's terrifying. It's the most purpose Ray has ever felt. Aurelian watches from a distance. Learning. Trying. Failing sometimes. But trying. One afternoon, Ray finds him sitting with the pup, attempting to read a story. The boy corrects his pronunciation, giggling. Aurelian's face, usually stone, cracks into something almost soft. Ray's chest aches watching them. This is what family should look like. But peace doesn't last forever. One evening, a messenger arrives with legal documents. Ray scans them. His blood runs cold. What is this? He demands, storming into Aurelian's office. Aurelian looks up from his desk. Legal guardianship papers. For me. Ray's voice shakes. You're trying to make me his legal guardian? Not trying. Offering. Aurelian stands. My son trusts you. Biologically imprinted on you. If something happens to me, nothing is going to happen to you. You don't know that. Aurelian's voice is firm. This world is dangerous. I need to know he'll be protected. Ray stares at the papers, at the weight of what Aurelian is offering. Legal rights, authority, responsibility. I'm just an Omega, Ray whispers. I don't have the power to. You have the power that matters, Aurelian interrupts. You have his heart. Ray's throat tightens. I can't accept this, he says. Why not? Because I don't belong in your world. Aurelian crosses the room, stopping in front of him. Then change the world with me. Ray looks up, stunned. I've spent my life building empires, Aurelian says. But I never built a home. You did that. In 2 weeks. For my son. 4. He stops. Ray's heart pounds. For who? Aurelian's hand lifts, hesitant, then cups Ray's cheek. For me. Ray's breath catches. I don't deserve you, Aurelian continues. I don't deserve his trust or your forgiveness. But I'm asking anyway. His thumb brushes Ray's jaw. Stay. Not as an employee. Not as a caretaker. Then as what? Ray whispers. As family. The word lands like an earthquake. Ray's eyes burn. You don't mean that. I do. Aurelian's voice is raw. I know it's too fast. I know I hurt you. But I'm not asking for an answer today. I'm asking for a chance. Ray wants to say no. Wants to protect himself. Wants to run before this fragile thing breaks. But then he hears it. A small voice from the doorway. Omega? Daddy? They both turn. The pup stands there, clutching a stuffed animal. His furred ears are relaxed now. His eyes bright. Are you fighting? He asks, worried. Ray's chest cracks open. He kneels. No, buddy. We're talking. About what? Ray looks at Aurelian, then back at the pup. About staying, he says softly. The pup's face lights up. Forever. Ray's throat closes. Forever. Can he do that? Can he trust this? Trust Aurelian? Trust a world that's only ever hurt him? The pup runs forward, throwing his arms around Ray's neck. Please stay forever. You're my Daddy Omega. Ray's breath stops. Daddy Omega. Not just Omega. Not just caretaker. Daddy. He looks up at Aurelian, at the vulnerability naked in those gray eyes. At the alpha who's trying so desperately to be better than the monster who raised him. I'll stay, Ray whispers. But I have conditions. Aurelian's expression doesn't change. Name them. I'm not a possession. I'm not a tool. If I stay, I'm an equal partner in his life. Agreed. And if you ever treat me like you did that night, I'll walk away myself, Aurelian finishes. I swear it. Ray studies him, searching for lies. He doesn't find any. Okay, Ray says. Then I'll stay. The pup cheers, squeezing tighter. Aurelian's shoulders sag with relief. And for the first time in weeks, Ray feels something like hope. That night, after the pup is asleep, Ray and Aurelian stand on the tower balcony. The city glitters below them, neon and steel and endless chaos. I meant what I said, Aurelian says quietly. About you changing the world with me. Ray leans against the railing. One person can't change the world. No, but two can start. Ray looks at him. At the alpha who's trying to be better. At the man who's choosing vulnerability over dominance. This won't be easy, Ray warns. I know. People will talk. The board, the syndicate, society. Let them. Aurelian's smile is sharp. I've never cared about their opinions before. Ray laughs despite himself. You're impossible. So I've been told. Aurelian's expression softens. But I'm also yours. If you'll have me. Ray's heart stutters. Yours, not the other way around. He looks out at the city, at the world that tried to crush him, at the life he's somehow building from the ashes. Ask me again, Ray says. In 6 months. Aurelian blinks. What? You want me to trust this? To trust you? Then prove it. Ray meets his eyes. Court me. Show me you mean it. And in 6 months, ask me again. Aurelian stares at him. Then slowly he smiles. Challenge accepted. 6 months later, the answer will be different. But tonight, it's enough. Back inside, the pup stirs in his sleep. Ray goes to him automatically, checks his blankets, smooths his hair. The boy's hand reaches out, finding Ray's. Love you, Daddy Omega. He mumbles, half asleep. Ray's heart shatters and rebuilds in the same breath. Love you too, buddy. And he means it.